In this lesson, we're going to learn how to read characters from a file, and then in the process of doing that, also write those same characters back out to a different file, creating a crude copy program. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is import the classes that we need. I'm going to show you a little shortcut you can take. Rather than write out each class name individually, you can write java.io.star, and that will get all of the classes that are part of java.io. Now, some people would say that's over importing because there are classes there that I'm not going to use, but you won't really see it as far as hurting the efficiency of your program, and it just makes things a little bit quicker to type. So that's a shortcut you can use when you want to. So let's move on into the main part of the program. So we'll write out public static void main, string args, throws IO exception. So the first thing we do is we need some input and output files. So our input file is going to be charge.txt. Our output file is going to be charge.back, like backup file. Then we need a file reader object. And notice we don't have to use the scanner class here. With characters, we can read directly from file reader. We need a file writer object, and again, we don't have to use print writer. We can work directly with file writer. So those are our two file objects. Now we need a variable to store the characters as we read them, and notice we're using an integer variable here, ch. That's because when we read from a character file, well, just a file, but when we read characters, we're actually reading the ASCII value of the character, and that has to be stored in an integer. So to do a read, we just write the read method on our input file object, like so. So infile.read will read a character into the variable ch. Now we can write our loop, and we're going to write our loop working on ch so that while it's not equal to -1, we'll continue in the program. And the reason we pick -1 is that when we're out of data to read, the program will return -1. So -1 indicates that we're out of data. So while we're not out of data, then what we want to do is we want to write the character to our output file, so outfile.write ch, and then we want to read a new character in, so ch equals infile.read, and that's all we have to do. So the last step is to close our files, like so, and then close main and close the class, and let's see how it works. So we'll save the file, clear the screen, make sure we don't already have a backup file there, so we'll just delete it. Make sure we have data to read in our input file, which we do. Clear the screen again and compile. And then run the program. And then check to make sure that it works. So we'll just type out the backup file. And so we've written a little copy program that reads a character from a file, then writes it out to a new file as long as the character being read is not equal to -1, which indicates the end of the file. So that's how character reading works in Java. And that wraps up our discussions of text file processing. So now we'll move on to the exercise where we're going to create a to-do list using text file reading and text file writing.